Hello and thanks for staying with us. Welcome to Political Platform on Repa FM. My name is Ambecheno. With Tiab and Abulo Semwaru are joining me today. I will be taking a look at the Electoral Act Amendment. The Harmonization Committee in the National Assembly was supposed to make yesterday. They didn't. The National Assembly will be holding emergency sitting today over a schedule of the elections and election dates. I will also be telling you that the Nigerian government has confirmed 100 American troops in Bauchi to provide intelligence and training support. So foreign troops, foreign boots in Nigerian soil. Perhaps this is the first time it's happening. If I'm not wrong, Pepe, is it not the first time?
Good morning, Amici.
Apart from the mercenaries that were procured during the Jonathan administration to get rid of Boko Haram,
the boots in this way and manner,
yes,
I think in recent history. This is about the first time we're having it in recent history.
Yes, starting from 1960. I can't remember any other time some foreign troops were stationed in Nigeria. I recall that just when after independence and Nigeria was about to sign a defense pact with the United Kingdom that would have allowed them to deploy British troops here, there was a nationwide resistance and protest led by students and others, and they stopped that move. Since then, I can't remember any foreign troop coming into
that was
Nigeria.
Then Nigerian Union then
Yes.
Resisted that move.
We don't forget, we have the multinational joint task force that involves troops from Niger Republic, Chad. I think Cameroon is also a part of it, I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
And all of that. So they walk along. That's why I said in this way and manner.
Yes, the multinational task force, you see armies of military of home countries working from within their territory, but share intelligence. I don't think Nigerian troops or Chadian troops moved into Nigeria and other, but we know that Nigerian troops maneuvered into Nigeria. Is it Chad?
Yeah, but one interesting development is they are working with the African setup to be relating with the multinational joint task force, but obviously that will be an area the Americans will look into. Last time we heard that materials arrived.
They will not work with the multinational task force because the U.S. base in Niger Republic was closed down.
The perception of the Russian influence around that area.
The military government there was hostile and not friendly.
But intelligence gathering can take them anywhere, you know that. So, but the good news is that Nigerians embracing this move by the U.S. and Nigerians welcoming the arrival of this personnel. The Nigerian military, all aspects of it, are they ready to work with this team to ensure that we wipe out banditry and criminality? This is not a religious sin. That's how some people have viewed it. It's to save the country. But they are also concerned that as they've stepped the boot on the ground, what
the
next?
Wider implications.
Yes, what next?
The issue
forward?
that U.S. will never come to your aid if there is nothing for them. That is all about their national interest. That is their national interest first, national interest second, and they are now national interest. But my thinking is that with the closure of the base in Niger Republic, the U.S. does not have foothold within the Sahel. You know, the government in Burkina Faso, the government in Mali, military government hostile, and the U.S. had maintained in Niger Republic troops. U.S. troops have been in Niger Republic for years now.
They were on the Nigerian border.
Yes. Now, U.S. had maintained drone surveillance posts in Niger Republic. So, but they've been driven out by the hostile military government. So my own thinking is that the U.S. troops boosts coming in is to establish these drone surveillance posts because they need to, the intelligence gathering is key. It's not like we developing nations, the world powers, US, Russia, China, they don't joke with intelligence gathering. They use all manners of gadgets and tools to gather intelligence across the world. And they have deep interest in Africa. There's a rivalry for control and ownership of mineral resources, very strategic mineral resources in Africa, including Nigeria, between the US and China. So that struggle is there. The US needs to know what China is doing, how they are helping with some Nigerian criminals to steal our mineral resources, which the Chinese have also denied. But we see Chinese also get involved in all this. So these are part of the issues. And so my thinking is that they are coming here to use Nigeria as a post to survey what is happening in the Sahel and beyond, and have the opportunity to have boots on ground in Africa. I talked about AFRICOM. You know what AFRICOM is? US African High Command. They believe there's need for them to have troops in Africa, apart from the ones they have in terms of the warships, and they have bases in Accra, and that they needed to also have across the continent boots on ground in case of emergency.
Indeed, the geopolitics has been changing and evolving over time, and just like you highlighted, apart from the U.S. base that was closed down in Niger, they also work closely with the European allies, France, UK, and the rest. And France has also been facing such pushback, across all of this. So, and it's the whole range of the region, the Sahel region and all of that. And they cannot just sit and fold their arms, and just allow everything to go the way it's going. So they decided to, to use Nigeria, clearly must put it that way, as that platform. This AFRICOM we're talking about, 2000, it was supposed to be in Nigeria, but Nigeria opposed. They opposed it. They now moved it to Ghana, and all of that. So it's what it is. But one thing we cannot take away is the fact that it's almost a national consensus that we have been overwhelmed. We must also say it clearly.
We can't resist any longer.
We've been overwhelmed by the terrorists, the jihadists, and all of that. So every solution, that's why some Nigerians will call for mercenaries, foreign help, and all of that. It appears we have done practically everything. We're talking about the multinational joint task force. We're talking of special forces. We're talking about fighters. We've done practically everything that the intelligence and the services
for about 18 years or 17.
So everybody has been overwhelmed. Whatever solution that will be on the table to fix this is what
the Nigerian military. If you ask some of them, will tell you they are not overwhelmed.
The truth of the matter is, it's not the overwhelming we're talking about. It may not necessarily be in terms of capacity and what to do. The overwhelming we're talking about is the politics of it, because those who are supposed to give, those commands and all of that, for the reason of the politics of, they will say, I'm killing my people. They will say that I'm killing their people, and things like that, fail to be as firm as that. So if somebody from the outside is coming in, I can wash my hands and say, okay, you see, this thing has gotten to this point. They are breathing down our neck, and all of that. So it will be justified in a way and manner in which it is. And like we said, like some of us have always said, whatever we need to do, we need to do it. The good thing is they're not coming in here to engage in the fighting per se. They said it's intelligence and all of that, and they also
you never see them in the war front.
Provide us, and it is one thing that has been missing. Some of us
to strike terrorist targets from afar, like they did from the Atlantic Ocean.
And what some of us have also been talking about, this intelligence gathering, the use of gadgets and all of that, is what some of us have been advocating for a very long time. Yesterday, the committee is approving 1.something trillion for army. If we go and look at that budget, it will be, they are renovating civil relations, they are renovating schools in the hometowns of some generals, some roads, and all of building hotels, and all of that.
Maybe additional blocks in the army university.
Exactly, not getting the hardware, the gadgets that we need to fix it. So it's what I'm sure if we go to the Nigeria Defense College, the Army College, War College, and all of that, there are several tests that participants, even in the Nigerian Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, there are several advanced tests, that people have put forward, but nobody is watching, is ready to, engage with that. So if this is what will help to balance that politics that will have held our leaders back from taking the right decision and what needs to be done, let's have it, and get the result. result. And the only thing we also need to do is our leaders need to also watch it. If you have agreed that it's in intelligence, and all of that, we know that at the end of this, or even not even before the end,
it's intelligence, and you think the agreement. You think this is Nigeria where agreement. It's just like you're living with your girlfriend and you invite a young man, well-built, handsome, to live in the same house with you to help you with domestic chores, and you think you're not exposing your interest to dangers. That's the agreement. Anything can happen.
That's why I'm saying we need to watch it. We need to watch it. And what happened in the colonial era, and all of that, where resources were taken away and all of that, we should be in a position to insist that there should be value addition, not the raw material. I think whatever they're doing, they should be able to help us with the process.
30 years ago, this would not have been possible because Nigeria has the might to police its borders, police the whole of West Africa. Nigeria was the police of West Africa who had the capacity to deploy, including area power, to any part of West Africa. Today, their country cannot hold its territory. Their country has lost territory to various terrorist groups. Progressively, we have declined, and I dare say we have continued to decline as a nation. That's why we are so helpless that we are looking drain this nation, enrich themselves, and make sure that their personal and group interests supersede public national interest.
I said here some times ago, I was at my mechanic, and he was lamenting that, bros, these generals have money more than governors. And I said, which of the generals? He said, all generals in Nigeria have money more than governors because of the exorbitant, what do you call that word? Lifestyle.
Generals will also tell you the politicians have money more than businessmen.
They are working together.
It has come to a situation, help yourself while you can.
I'm not blaming them. They are doing their work, and the worker.
They will say that the ones that are dying in the battlefield, those that are chopping life, enjoying life in Abuja, are the ones with money. So why wouldn't they also have the money and basic things of life?
Whatever the perception of that mechanic, and like so many other persons, I still hold.
Go through what some of you are saying on our live YouTube page. Mikayo says, welcome them at this point. That's referring to us. Insecurity has robbed us a lot. And so they're saying we need to indeed welcome them. Everybody's welcoming them.
I told you, the people are helpless.
Yeah.
Today.
There's no option. Let me just quickly go through. And Mikayo is also saying the Chinese have been present in my senatorial district in Kogi West for a long time doing mining and lumbering. We are truly concerned about our natural resources, that we know what to do. Elder Timothy says, everyone in the studio, good morning to you. Erifai should explain to us why he tapped the NSA phone and what it means. Is Boko Haram also tapping our phones? I think we have to get to the Erifai saga. We were talking about his predicament. But before we get to that, just drop your comment on the issue of everybody welcoming U.S. troops.
Yes, you see, everybody, it may not be everybody, but a majority of Nigeria has gotten to a point where
so many are opposed to it.
Yeah, today. That's what I'm saying. I said I may not be all, but most Nigerians. Because if you look at it, today, people are killed in a particular location. The other day we were talking about where over 70-something people in Kwara. People are no longer moved. we've heard these figures, we've seen videos, people have seen pictures, and so it no longer gets to the emotion, and all of that. That is the level to which this terror, has gotten to Nigerians, and all of that. So we need to put an end to this so that Nigerians' humanity can return to them. If not in our generations, the other generations that are coming up will feel that if somebody is killed, if somebody is adopted, it should bother you. But nobody bothers today.
Just hold on, just 1 second. The issue is, apart from terrorism, issue of kidnapping. Who will help us with kidnapping? If US is helping us with terrorists, who will help us with kidnapping? Because just travel through the roads, there are points that are notorious. You dare not travel. If you go through, you have your heart literally on your hands. You carry them on your hand till you pass through this area. We have been helpless. We have been helpless. Who do we resort to now?
Kidnapping is terrorism. Kidnapping in itself is an act of terrorism.
Okay.
What I believe this intelligence will help us do is to dismantle these terrorist cells
that dismantling terrorism,
this kidnapping, and those who have taken advantage.
But the locals have also joined in now, helping themselves in cohorts with
it's a network.
The terrorists.
It's a network. So if we strike the headquarters, we strike those cells.
Is not what foreigners will help us. Is what we should help us, as our security agencies have proven incapable of coming to our aid. Let's quickly, Rena have been able to fish out some mails. Let's quickly take the few we can before we get to the El-Rufai saga. ICPC after El-Rufai, EFCC presently hosting El-Rufai in their custody. He went in there yesterday. Up to early hours of this morning, he's still speaking with them. DSS waiting for El-Rufai. All of them are after El-Rufai, Nasi El-Rufai. Rena, who are those after you?
Nobody. Good morning, everyone. What about the guys? You are about the women.
We know those are after you.
Only Jesus. All right, everyone. Good morning to you. This is the mail segment. I am Onoshorena Obozege. From Lagos is Ugochukwu Godwin, who says the allegation made by El-Rufai against the NSA Ribado shows the level of porosity in our security. If an individual can say he has a recorded phone conversation of the NSA instructing that he be arrested, no matter if it's about playing opposition, should not be treated with kid gloves. And an independent inquiry has to be constituted to investigate the allegation that NSA imported toxic chemicals. The idea of petitioning the SSS to investigate is dead on arrival. This unitary system is not working. If the federal government is not enmeshed in immigration and protection of our borders, this country is too big for the federal government to be at the center of every issue. From Abuja is Amechi Oboche. Says, Nigeria has dropped to 142nd position in the 2025 Corruption Perception Index, CPI, released by Transparency International. Nigeria is the 36th most corrupt nation on earth, reflecting a slight decline in its global ranking on public sector corruption. While this report provides some insight, Transparency International appears not to have fully captured the depth of corruption in Nigeria. It is widely believed that the level of corruption in the country is far worse than what the index suggests, as practices seem deeply entrenched in many sectors. I therefore urge Transparency International to reassess its evaluation framework, as a more comprehensive review may reveal that the situation is more severe than currently reported. Also from Abuja, Port Harcourt at this point, is John Peters, who says, Dear political platform crew, it is well known that a good institution anywhere in the world seeks out the best hands, men and women with proven competence, integrity, and experience to guarantee effective service delivery. This is how systems grow. This is how nations progress. Yesterday, while listening to Mike Igini, a former INEC commissioner and one of the most knowledgeable voices on electoral matters in Nigeria, during a live national television interview, I was struck by the depth of his analysis. He calmly but clearly outlined the root of Nigeria's electoral dysfunction and, more importantly, offered practical and workable solutions. And one question kept ringing in my mind: why are we desperately searching for professors and career politicians to manage our electoral system? And then I remember, we are in Nigeria. Nigeria must professionalize INEC by appointing proven electoral experts, not political loyalists. From Port Harcourt to Ogun State, Anefiong Intia says, warning to the National Assembly on Electoral Act Amendment Bill. Number 1, the National Assembly must desist from kangaroo passage of the bill as they enter into plenary. Number 2, National Assembly, especially the Senate, must speak the language of the people, which is real-time transmission of election results from the polling unit come 2027 election. Enough is enough. And from Abuja again is Ejiofor Isife, who says, between a bold promise and a flickering reality, when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu declared during his campaign, if I don't give you steady power supply in 4 years, vote me out, it sounded like the kind of political wager Nigerians had long waited to hear. It was confident, it was direct, it was measurable. But today, the promise echoes differently against the backdrop of repeated national grid collapses in Nigeria. Since the beginning of this administration, the electricity sector has struggled with persistent instability. Reports of nationwide blackouts linked to failures in the grid managed by the Transmission Company of Nigeria have continued to surface. Whether described as system disturbances or full collapses, the outcome for ordinary Nigerians remain the same: darkness, disruption, and diesel fumes. He's suggesting that the president frame electricity as a performance benchmark by saying Nigerians should vote him out if he fails to deliver steady power in 4 years. He transformed electricity from a policy ambition into a political contract. That contract now faces a credibility test. All right, everyone, that completes the mail segment today. Please continue to send them to politicalplatform@darkgroup.com.
Thank you so much for the mails. The president, based on the last mail, promised steady electricity in 4 years, and he says, vote me out if I don't. Well, while you're debating over whether he has done that, Rena, the man has taken care of himself.
Yes, that's what I wanted to drive at.
In March, that's next month, the Aso Rock Presidential Villa, Abuja, will go off-grid. Their president and the beautiful wife and the family will have uninterrupted power supply. And you out there, well, it's just like a father with his children. He will tell the children, you're up to 18, you're adults, go and take care of yourself. I've taken care of myself.
It is Babatunde Fashola who said before 2019 election, that any government that cannot, 2015.
Yes.
Any government that cannot bring settled power in 6 months should be booted out. And he came and became Minister of Power and nothing was done. Up till now, we have not crossed that mark of 4,000 megawatt or 5,000 megawatt of electricity generation. In the past 3 days, there has not been light in Abuja. Why is Abuja?
There have been lights, maybe not faster.
Yes, epileptic. If you say epileptic, it's not. You don't have light.
Steady.
You don't have 10 hours of light, and is that light?
Abulu, Rena, maybe I have to move you people to Aso Rock to enjoy. 280 million to medical institutions in that same year. An individual spent a whole federal government in provision of critical need of citizens' health. And you tell me they should not sacrifice. Now go to where they travel outside the shores of the country to take care of themselves. But the one you and I will go to, you sacrifice. Thank you so much for joining us today. Let's do the game tomorrow.